I have never in my life been so tempted to steal. Well, hello and welcome back to Mod and Pop Thrift. My name's Tom. I'm a stay-at-home dad for 5 kids and a full-time eBay reseller. And so I'm out here in my junk that I have listed. And today we have sold a hat out of the banana hat box. That was the first one right on top. I turned the camera off because I was like, they don't want to watch me dig. There it is. $9 plus shipping. I paid $1. Alien Workshop is an older skate brand. This isn't a really vintage shirt, and it's a size small. Older skate brand stuff. Even the newer stuff by the old skate brands, Santa Cruz, Vans, Alien Workshop, and a lot of others, independent. The stuff does tend to do well. This sold, because it's small and it isn't vintage, it got $14.99, but I paid $2.48 for it at Goodwill. In clothing, smalls tend to not do as well. Anyway, smalls tend to not sell for as much money. This is a Pizza Planet shirt. I don't even have any idea where I got it. $7, I think it was $7 plus shipping. But it's so easy to list and so easy to ship that if I paid $2 for it, I'll make like more than double my money. I'll make like $3 on it. VH1, who remembers that? Pop-up videos. Pop-up video. This is the remainder of 118 VHS tapes that I got. So a little bit of backstory here. I think this was Columbus Day, and for whatever reason, all our Goodwills around here were closed. I didn't think they were normally closed on federal holidays. But so I took some stuff to the donation center, and everybody had been dumping all day, evidently. I have never in my life been so tempted to steal out of the dumped donations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I moved them around. Walmart bags of VHS, horror VHS. Lots of money there. All obscure horror VHS, like Faces of Death and The Fog and just weird obscure horror. I'm gonna come back Tuesday and see if it got to the shelf. So they were closed on Monday, and I come back on Tuesday, and there's a guy. They open at 9. I got there at 8:30. There was a young man taking those donations in, and so I asked him, "What do you do with those VHS tapes?" And because I knew they never hit the floor. R-rated horror never is, not even DVDs most of the time. And so he's like, "Well, we just throw them away." And I'm like, "Well, can I just take them instead of you throwing them away?" And he said, "No," which is what I expected. And I said, "Can I buy them?" And he said, "Let me go ask my manager." And he came back like 2 minutes later and said, "If you come back in, then we will set them aside for you and you can buy them." And I paid $1 a piece for them, and he ended up bringing me like 2 bags, and I was like, I know there were more than that. So I hung out for a while, and I ended up being in there for like 90 minutes, just kind of waiting to see how many. And I was about ready to leave, and he brought out 3 more, and I think it ended up being 8 or 9 bags, Walmart bags tied up with horror VHS in them. And I made a ton of money on that stuff, and I still have a handful. So that's what we're looking at here. This one wasn't one of them, but I put it in here. When Women Had Tails. I'm sure that's hilarious. I think it's supposed to be a joke. This is the one we're looking for. This is super rare. Rocktober Blood. And I had it listed through all of October. And it's not in great shape. And I think the main thing that hurts it, even though it is a legitimate copy, the label is gone. It's got this side label, but this has nice copies of this to sell for over $150. This I had listed for $125 and could never get a real good best offer. So I listed it for $70. No, I listed it for $50 on auction and it got up to $70. Another thing is that Faces of Death. I asked a bunch of people. I suspected you couldn't list these on eBay. So I asked a bunch of people and every single person told me, no, I've sold them. It's no big deal. And mine got removed immediately. So you cannot list Faces of Death. And I knew that in the back of my head, but I trusted strangers on the internet. And last we have this hoodie that, well, it's not last, but it's the last one in here. Champion. It says Champion on the zipper. It's got the big embroidered Champion hit. It's got the all blue, not vintage, but certainly not new, made in Honduras tag. And this is reverse weave. That is a reverse weave Champion. And I know that has something to do with how the fabric is made, but most every reverse weave I've ever seen has this rib in under the armpit. Like it has a section under the armpit. So when I am looking at sweatshirts, I'm looking to see if any of them have that, because it might be a Champion reverse weave, and Champion reverse weaves do really, really well. And just as I was wrapping up, some more of these hats from that McDonald's manager sold. Right here, this one is the same as that one, and these two are the same. So I listed them as lots of 2. You get both, and then I had multiple quantities. It's World Cup 1994 dead stock snapbacks. I think this may have been in a video. This flip clock, these do really, really well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I paid $3.99 for it. The radio doesn't work, but the flip clock part works. Sold for $20 plus shipping as parts. And then these sold to the same buyer. I listed them separately. All inks always do well. I paid $2 a piece for these. I'll put the amount up on the screen because they sold. I think I made $25 on the pair selling to the same guy. I've had both of these pieces for a long time. This is a pink like fishing hat, but what makes it remarkable is that it's LL Bean, made in the U.S. Union tag on it, which makes it fairly old. It's at least 70s. Faded and weird, but it's sold to the same buyer who bought this. This is Sears Roebuck activewear, and it's just like a fowl hunting. It has like bags in the back to keep your birds, I guess. Old hunting stuff sells fairly well. I mean, this sold for $19, the hat sold for $14, both plus shipping, but both to the same buyer. And I paid $1 a piece for these things. So I pick up old hunting stuff because it does sell eventually. You have to forgive me, my neighbor is jackhammering his driveway out. So if you can hear that, that's what's going on. Syracuse. This shirt is dead stock. It still has the, obviously this sticker wouldn't be on there if it was ever washed. This is from 2003, and knowing a little bit, like obviously this is just a cool print, but knowing that 2003 is the year that Carmelo Anthony won the championship with Syracuse, his NBA career didn't turn out to be what everybody hoped it would be, but he still looked on very favorably by Syracuse fans, and so knowing something like that makes this shirt a little more valuable, and it's just a really cool print. So, and it's almost 20 years ago now. I'm old. In F74, we have this Cubs sweatshirt, and I will tell you a little bit of a story about this Cubs sweatshirt. It was at an estate sale where they had some clothes, and one of the biggest clothing buyers around here got ahead of me, 1988, at this estate sale, and had a whole big old pile of stuff. But then there was a big mess in this one attic bedroom, and it was covered in like ladies, grandma, like button shirts. Not desirable vintage menswear that he and I both deal with. But I was like, I'm not finding much. I went through there. I got 2 of these Cubs sweatshirts, this one and this one that has already sold, and a handful of other good things out of that pile. I don't remember what they are right off, but dig at estate sales. Don't just believe that the pros that got there before you got everything. I did that for a long time. I'm like, I'm not going to that. I can't be the first one there. And the pros are going to be there and get everything that's worth getting. But I had to get over that. And like, this isn't huge money. It's 20 bucks, but I paid $1 for it. And I got a bunch of stuff at that estate sale. In HE44, sometimes you do everything you can to put in the description, like the details that people want. And still, they email you and ask if this doll works. And it does work. But the title and the description couldn't have been more clear. Hi. Then up here, I'm almost sad to see this thing go because it's so cool. And I underpriced it, but it's awesome. The Sorcerer's Apprentice hat from Walt Disney World. Pretty cool piece. Would have been a lot more expensive at the park. I don't remember where I got it. I've had it a long time. I want to say I got it for $2.50 at East Peoria Goodwill, probably a year and a half ago. The sleep machine that sold actually is still in the house, so it's not even out here to be pulled. But the you guys remember I just picked that up. I just listed it the day before yesterday, so it was listed less than 48 hours and sold. And I marked it again. I marked it just a little below comps. I check comps of what stuff has sold for, and I check what the lowest like one just like mine is, and then try to be a couple bucks below that guy if I can within what I paid for it. But again, I got to divorce myself from what I paid for it in order to price it right to sell. Okay, so it's Thursday morning, right? And we have 6 sales going out. 3 of them are all the same thing. Up here, there's a box that has these smelly things in them. I sold 2 green ones.
That's dirty.
That's dirty?
Yeah.
It is dirty. But that's okay. We'll dust it off before we sell it, before we ship it if it sells. And a red one. You can see I paid $1 for these. It was last year right after Christmas. Somebody had donated a bunch of these to Habitat for Humanity. And they've been selling pretty well this week. Over here in box AA, there's a hat that I bought for $0.25. H2 Hummer. Didn't sell for much, but it did sell. Okay, these guys I picked up the other day at Five Below. They were $5. That guy, Shy Guy, and King Boo. And they had 2 Shy Guys and 1 King Boo. So I sold these 2 as a lot. I think they sold for $26 free shipping. And I kept the one. And I paid $15. I'll basically make my money where I get the 1 Shy Guy for free. Okay, this says down in C5. Yep, there it is. You guys saw me pick up this mandolin the other day. Mandolin slicer for $4.99.
I need it so I always remember kitties.
So you don't forget about kitties existing? Yeah. That's a pretty cute box.
Yeah.
For a pretty cute girl.
Yeah. So can we keep it?
No! Yay!
Oh.
Mandolin that we bought for $4.99. I had it listed for like $40, but I don't know anything about it. And so when somebody sent me a $25 plus shipping offer, that's a donating box, yes. Somebody sent me a $25 plus shipping offer. We took it. And since we're in here, I'll just put these shoes up. The wrestling shoes that we bought the other day at Goodwill, I think we paid $7.99 for them. I listed them, and within a couple hours, I had somebody send me an offer for $35 or something, and I just straight up declined that. And then this morning somebody bought them for $70 plus shipping. Wrestling shoes do well. Asics has a really nice pair of wrestling shoes. This is not a brand I've ever heard of, but they're high-end wrestling shoes. Wrestling shoes have an unusual sole, so you'll recognize them most likely. And they sell really well. So I would never recommend or even do it myself, stealing from the donation piles. Even the reason that I even mentioned it is because I knew that those were going to get thrown away unless I took them one way or another. Obviously, I didn't steal them. I wouldn't. But the thought crossed my mind, if I took those out of that pile, they wouldn't get thrown away. There's a ton of value there. Collectors would want them. They wouldn't end up in a landfill. But I went ahead and put in the work and got them legitimately, which I think is important. So I used the stealing thing as a little bit of clickbait. It was that I taped that. Obviously, I got that footage live when I saw those things sitting there a couple months ago, but I wasn't running videos at the time. I just want you to know, I have never stolen anything, and I don't intend to, and I'm not promoting that, but just the idea that Goodwill would take something somebody donated to them and just throw it away ad hoc, whether or not it's worth anything to anybody, is frustrating. But anyway, don't pass on horror VHS. They will sell. There's a huge collector market. Like, even ones that have been released on DVD, there are people who would rather have the VHS. So horror, VHS is a weird market, but horror is always something people are looking for. Thanks for watching. You guys are getting the channel to grow again, and I greatly appreciate it. So if you would do me a favor, leave a comment about anything, and like and subscribe. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.